What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 70 of a weekly gaming news show. Today is Sunday, October 15th. It's 2017. I'm here, as always, with my partner in crime, Trenell.
What's going on, everybody?
And we got some news to talk about this week.
Yes, it is another Sunday, which means we got a slew of stories that we want to talk to you guys with. We're seasoned video game players that talk about the gaming news for the week. And yeah, let's go ahead and get things started with our weekly icebreaker. If you're new to the show, you don't know what the weekly icebreaker is. It's a question that we ask of the panel in order to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming-related topics, for the most part. Sometimes we like to go off the cuff, but today we're going to keep it gaming-focused because there was a story, and we're going to talk about this later on, that involved the Humble Bundle. So I kind of just wanted to talk about that for a minute, kind of like off the record from the main story. So as far as the Humble Bundle is concerned, what has been your favorite purchase from the Humble Bundle? And like, do you think you should have paid full price for it, or what?
Well, I've only done one, and
Okay.
and to be clear, the reason I've only done one is because I kind of walked away from PC gaming.
Okay.
But I've only done one, and the one I did was the PlayStation one. It had Darksiders. It had a whole bunch of Darksiders 2, and it's a whole bunch of them. And yes, I think it was a fabulous deal. I mean, I paid. I think at the time when I bought it, the average was $15.34. I paid $30.
Uh-huh.
And you know, I marked quite a bit off I marked half of it off to I think American Red Cross, and then I did the normal for the rest. I made sure I gave the developer some. I think I either gave the developer 5 or 10, just to make sure, you know, split between the developers. But
Right.
that was one point. I mean, the sheer number of games, and it had both Darksiders. It had the MX versus ATV sport cross game, which I like those games. It just had a ton of quality games. Not, I wouldn't say they're like the greatest games out there, but they are games that if you sit down and play, they are fun.
Right.
And so, I mean, $30, and I want it with like 10 games. It's a steal.
It's a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one time that I actually thought I should have paid full price was when I got Child of Light during the Humble Bundle, and that is an RPG, and it's weird. Well, not weird to a lot of people that play RPGs, but since I'm a novice at the RPG genre, this was very interesting for me because it wasn't like turn-based, and it wasn't necessarily an action RPG. It was something like kind of in the middle, where you have like a timeline similar to how it works in Earthlock, where there's a timeline, and you can manipulate the timeline. You can go first and second. It was really cool for me, and I was like, wow, this was a really good game. You know what? I actually got Ori and the Blind Forest as a Humble Bundle.
Oh wow,
as well.
Ori and the Blind Forest is a good one,
and that is an excellent game. And when I was planning, I was like, this deserves full price. But I always make sure to give the developers, a share of the profits, because that's what it's for. Once, kind of to like donate, and then other to make sure that the developers get, a share of the profits, because there's a lot of cases, especially with retail. When you're trading in games, like the developers, they don't see
any of that. Yeah.
So
and
go ahead.
Yeah, I just checked my account. I did half and half to the Red Cross and half to the developers, and I paid 30. It was actually 35 is what I paid.
Yeah, the only one where I went like throughout the entire thing and like bought all the games was during the 25th anniversary for Sonic. It came with like a really cool T-shirt.
Oh, nice.
That I can't wear because it has green in it, and I'll be like transparent in my chest. But it came with a really cool T-shirt, and it's like my 5th copy of every Sonic game in the franchise. So that's really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Humble Bundle. We will bring that up again later in the show, so look forward to that. But that was the weekly icebreaker. If you want to submit a question to us, you can do so via our social media. We're on Twitch. You can also leave comments. Not Twitch, we're on Twitter. We're live on Twitch, but we're on Twitter and Facebook. You can also leave comments down in the comment section of wherever you are watching this media, whether or not it's on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube or Facebook. But let's go ahead and jump into the next segment, which is going to be the quick hits. And these are short stories, kind of like lightning round stories that don't necessarily deserve a deep dive, but they are stories that we want to bring up to you guys because they're pretty cool in some cases. So I'll let you go ahead and start, Boogie. What's the first story we got?
So the first one is out of 2K, right? 2K Sports, and they've been getting in trouble with some of their business practices.
Yeah, we've been talking about them.
We gave them a big no out to
shellacking.
Yeah, on NBA 2K18, but they're back, and what we have now is marketing gone wild. So currently, the WWE franchises always had the character creation.
Yeah.
And this year in WWE 2K18, you are able to create with sponsored assets none other than Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken, or they're not that anymore, KFC fame.
Yeah, they're just KFC now.
Yeah, so the KFC fame. Colonel Sanders is in WWE
like
wrestling game. Yeah,
officially. They had an official ad.
Yes, they did
everything.
Showing it off. Yep, they had it on Twitter, and I don't know. I think this is a little bit of a reach. I mean, it's not in your face because you actually have to go into the character creation screen to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that extensive.
No, I'm not a big fan of it. And on top of that, this WWE 2K18 game actually has 3 sponsored achievements. One for Snickers, one for KFC, and the other one is for Finish IT. I'm not sure.
I don't even know
who this company is. Yeah, I've never heard of them before, but it's Finish It. No, I'm sorry. It's Finish It with the Truth. It's the Truth campaign.
Oh, like smoking cigarettes and all that jazz?
It's going to kill you to death. Yeah, it's the Truth campaign.
Kill you to death, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know how I feel about this, man. What's prided a lot of creators, like, on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and you look up 2K videos, you'll see that these people go all the way out with the character creation tools. So it kind of prides a lot of those people to be able to make like these outlandish characters. I mean, this isn't the first time that we've seen Colonel Sanders in the ring. No. As far as WWE 2K series is concerned, but it's the first time that it's actually sponsored, and they're getting like ad revenue or whatever. Like there's money being tossed
definitely
around.
Money being made, and this it's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily mind it too much. The achievements, I think it's tacky, but overall it doesn't hurt my game experience. The same thing with Colonel Sanders. I do appreciate that you have to go in and create him to put it in, but I don't think he should be in there at all. But I do understand, they're trying to maximize their revenue streams.
Right, because I believe 2K18 does not have microtransactions. I believe they came out and said that.
Yeah. As far as
the game will not support microtransactions.
Right.
So with this gaming climate right now, if you don't have microtransactions or some kind of like huge like $150 bonus pack where John Cena comes to your house and plays with you or something like that, it's like you have to make more money somewhere. Right, exactly. And this is by far not the first. I mean, Madden has been doing it for years. They've actually had sponsorships with Snickers, Sprite. with Sprite, Verizon. Yeah. And you'll play the game and you'll see like posted in like on the scoreboards and stuff where a normal ad would be ads for these companies. So if you can put it in the game, especially like in a sports game, is pretty easy and pretty innocuous to stick them in the game. I'm okay with that. This is pretty harmless in terms of like ads, but it just is just like every other like new instance of something in games. It sets a precedent, and I really feel like if it's not contained, it can go beyond. Just go out of control. And we'll be seeing ads during our loading screens and all types of jazz. Yep, the Kool-Aid Man and Sonic. yeah. So pretty harmless, but it always starts that way. So we'll see how this continues, down the road. Let's go ahead and jump into the next quick hit. What we got?
our favorite anti piracy software, De Nouveau, was released with Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor, and within 24 hours it was cracked.
Jeez.
Like a day. I mean, listen, it was added into Sonic. It took less than a week for Sonic to get cracked, and I think at that time we talked about it was something like a 70% failure rate, where for 70% of the time the Nouveau does get cracked. My problem, I understand what you're doing as a developer. You want to protect your IP. You don't want people pirating it, your products. But what's happening is the people that want to pirate are breaking your shit.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're causing a headache for people that are actually going out to buy your game.
Right. And I mean, this is I don't know. I feel like Shadow of War has been riddled with controversy. If it hasn't been like with their DLC practices or their microtransaction issues, this just adding this DRM and just bringing up the possibility for us to cover a story like this where it's been broken. It's just adding more negative press to this title. Which I feel is already riddled with issues as far as the press is concerned.
Yeah, controversies.
Yeah, a lot of controversies. Yeah.
I mean, it's been reviewed pretty well, but there's been controversies with it, and more controversies is not what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, you definitely don't need that. I mean, I felt like Shadow of Mordor, the first game, could have avoided a lot of its shortcomings as far as giving it out to gamers, and the whole PewDiePie situation. You remember when we reviewed that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they're not going out of their way to prevent these kind of things. Like they're looking for ways for people to just stop thinking about the game and think about everything else that they're doing.
Right. It sounds to me as like they're under the any press is good press. Right.
I don't know. Unless you're Rockstar, I don't think that works.
Yeah, true. But it just seems that way because they let everything. This is WB, right? Yeah. And they just let it roll downhill, bad, good or bad. They don't really care. They just like, oh, okay, yeah, we did it. So what? And we're gonna do this. And they at least did apologize over the controversy with the DLC pack that they were selling. Yeah. I think that was more of a misunderstanding because
I do too. But
because. Yeah, apparently the entire time all of the benefits were going to charity. They weren't going to benefit WB or the developer or anything.
Right, but they couldn't state that in the terms of service, because of like laws or in certain states or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I mean, my thing about this is, if you're going to protect your stuff, don't make it a hassle for honest people, and get something that actually works.
Something that works, man. Stop using this stuff. 24 hours, like, come on, man.
That's nothing.
And this isn't like a small title like Sonic Mania was. This is a AAA title.
I mean, and there's still more games coming out. I mean, Mass Effect had it. I'm sure that was there's games that were stripped out of after it was stripped out of. There's games that still are coming out, like the new South Park is going to have it, Assassin's Creed Origins is going to have it, and Sonic Forces are scheduled to all three of those games upcoming are scheduled to have it. I mean, and you look at that Wikipedia page. If you're listening, go to their Wikipedia page. They have a list of about 40 or 50 games, and then just look at the right side where it says cracked, yes or no. The yeses outnumber the no's by about 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know how many failures it takes for you to realize that this is something that's not working. Mm-hmm. And it's also something that gives you, a bad look in the press. Right. It's like, why do it? Why go through that issue,
And like I said,
a lot of companies, my bad, go ahead.
No, I said, like I was saying, it's bad for the people that actually going out of that actually are buying the game, because from reports, and there's been reports before of it back doors opening back, the possibility of back doors being open to some kind of issue where that particular and I forgot what game it was. This was maybe a couple years ago, but it was eating system resources, so the game wasn't performing up to snuff. It was basically hogging PC resources, so the game was stuttering and jittery, and they figured it out and they had to patch it. But stuff like that for people that are out buying the game, it's no good.
It's no good. That's why most of the times I buy stuff on consoles just so I don't have to like deal with this. But I mean, when you release games, like there has to be a set margin of error when you just have to accept the fact that people are going to pirate your game.
Right.
And I'm sure that a lot of companies like do anticipate that, but like going trying to prevent it like this, it's proven not to work. They need to come up with something else.
Save the money, man.
Save the money, save the headache.
Right.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And we're talking about my boy.
Yeah, this is right up your alley.
Right up my alley. Sonic the Hedgehog. If you've ever played Sonic 3D Blast, it's a like top-down perspective quasi 3D Sonic game that came out on the Genesis back in 1996. It's a pretty cool game. And the developers, or like the founders of Traveler's Tale, because it was a spin-off game made by another company, Traveler's Tale is actually going out of their way to come out with what they're calling an unofficial director's edition of Sonic 3D Blast. It's going to come with some improvements with the controls, and is basically just going to address a lot of the issues that gamers had with the game when it initially came out. This is actually pretty cool, and it just shows how open Sega is to allowing for fans and even like previous developers to go back and retread these old games and either make them better or change them up altogether. Because if this was a Nintendo IP, like this would have been shut down immediately.
Yeah, at the announcement, right?
As soon as it was announced. But what's really cool is if you actually own the cartridge, what this a director's edition is going to do is provide you with additional code that can be imported into the Sega Genesis and be played like on your actual Genesis console.
That's kind of cool.
9 times out of 10 people are just going to emulate it.
Yeah, it'll be emulated. But I mean, there's the collectors and the purists out there that want to that would want to do that, and just the fiddlers, the people that like to go in and mess around with stuff. Right. It'd be a project for them. And I think just because of that, it's kind of cool. I think it's cool that they're doing it.
Yeah, it's really cool that they're going about it the way it's like in an official, unofficial way. Yeah. It's the most official, unofficial thing that's come out of the Sonic like fan landscape in a very long time. So this is actually something that I'm looking forward to. I can't wait to see how it progresses. The main guy behind it has a YouTube channel, and he's like keeping record of his progress and everything, because there was a map editor that they used to create the game. But it was taken out, once the game was released. He's thinking that there is a way to keep it in game, so we can have like a Sonic 3D Blast maker in our hands.
That's kind of cool.
That'd be really cool. So we'll see how it turns out. Any updates will definitely be reported in our like update section. But that's our quick hits. Just some quick stories that we wanted to talk about. If you have any that you want to submit to us, make sure you do so via our social media. Just use the hashtag quick hits and to make sure that we see it. And most of them will definitely be talked about on the stream. We can have your story discussed on the podcast. It'll be really cool for that to happen. But let's go ahead and move into the next segment, and that's going to be the top 5 stories for this week. But before we do that, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the New Challengers. So, are you playing any fighting games? Are you trying to get good? Well, the New Challenger Discord is the place for you, sporting support for Tekken 7, Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and of course, Street Fighter 5, with many more games coming up in the future. Go to newchallenger.gg, join the Discord, and be a part of a robust and active family of gamers, which include coaches and weekly tournaments to help you get into the fighting mode, I guess. help you regain your fighting spirit. So that's new challenger.gg. You can also hit those guys up on Twitter. They are New Challenger TV. And make sure you go to their Twitch channel as well, because they do have weekly content like the beginner breakdown, where they go through different matches that are submitted to them and tell you the ins and outs and what you can do to improve yourself. So if you're lucky, you submit a match that you had online, and they'll critique it and give you pointers on how to improve your game. So again, that's newchallenger.gg. Big shout out to Mr. Vinegar, who is the founder of the Discord, and also a huge shout out to Mount Lover, who is a friend of a weekly gaming news show, as well as a coach and moderator over on the Discord, and he's also a commentator for the Street Fighter V tournaments for the North American series, which is going pretty strong. I've heard they've been going pretty strong this season, and I'm curious as to how it's going to work out with all of the changes that are coming up really soon. There's a lot of changes coming to Street Fighter really soon, so we'll see how that impacts the Discord. But yeah, top 5 news stories. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Boogie, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Okay, so this past week, there was an Oculus Connect. Is basically an Oculus Rift developer conference. Is basically what it is.
Okay.
And they announced quite a few things. I will say that they didn't really focus. There was not much, if any, gaming news, specific news coming out of the Oculus Direct. There was a lot of talk about commercial use or commercial sales. There was a lot of talk about social spaces and VR as a social network system. And I mean, that's Facebook, that's their business, right?
Right.
But there were a couple of things that were interesting. The first thing is they announced the Oculus Go. Mm-hmm. The Oculus Go is a self-contained VR set. It's the first of its kind that I know of. From any of the big names that's out there. When I say big names, think Oculus, HTC, and PlayStation, right. Sony, and then even Samsung with their Gear VR, which is based off of Oculus tech. But it's self-contained. You don't need to attach it to a PC. You don't need to plug a phone into it. Everything is self-contained in the headset, and it's VR. It's VR for the Go. I mean, it's priced to go. I mean, it's not overly expensive. It's $200. It's supposed to come out sometime, I think, spring 2018. Now, it's not going to be your mega gaming machine. You think of it more as on par with the mid to high end cell phone, as opposed to any of the gaming systems, even the Switch. But it is an interesting device. Something I may be interested in at some point. But yeah, that's coming. The next thing that came out of there was Respawn, and Respawn are the original founders of Infinity Ward and are now producing the Titanfall series. Right. They are working on a first-person project for Oculus Rift. They said it's a new IP. It has nothing to do with Titanfall. It has nothing to do with the Star Wars project they're working on. Something totally new that they're working on specifically for Oculus and VR. They did say that would be a intense first-person shooter, or intense realistic first-person shooter type game, but it's super secret, and they didn't release much or any details on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if anybody could, change the way people see first-person shooters in this, gaming landscape, I think it's Respawn.
They did it before.
They've done it before. They changed the game with the Modern Warfare series back when they were, known as
Infinity Ward.
Yep. So I think they may, Oculus may be, getting something super special from a group of very talented individuals.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see what that is, but I'm pretty confident that whatever it is, it's going to get the full might of their creativity.
Right, and it sounds like it seemed to me that Oculus or Facebook, the parent company, might be bankrolling them, so they might have a nice sized budget to work with as well.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting to see when you have that big budget and you have autonomy as to what you're creating. You can get some good stuff. Sometimes you can overreach, but a lot of times you get some good stuff. And they even with the Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Titanfall, where a lot of it may not have sold well. Titanfall, the first one was good. The second one was much better. It's actually a really, really good game. So it'd be interesting to see what they bring out.
Yeah. I'm super confident in those guys, and we'll just have to wait and see what it is that they come up with. We have one more Oculus news story. What else do we have?
So over the summer, Oculus have dropped the price from $499 to $399. It was temporary, a temporary price drop. After this particular event, they didn't make that price drop again, and it is now permanent. So the Oculus Rift is $399 on par with the PlayStation VR. That's the full version. Is still definitely you still definitely need a PC to set it up, and that doesn't include any of the many accessories when you're looking at the touch controllers and the room sensors and all that stuff.
Ugh. So I don't know. Lots of tech, lots of money going into this kind of like technology, but we're not seeing the games that could actually like make this even on par or comparable to playing on just a regular console.
Yeah, there's no killer app, at least for gamers. I mean, there's and like I said, if you watched or read a lot of the stories on this Oculus Connect, a lot of stuff they talked about was enterprise. They talked a lot about it being in a business. They talked about, I think it was a car manufacturer. I'm pretty sure it was Audi with the virtual showrooms where you can put the Oculus Rift on and you can go through the showroom, get in the car, press buttons, and do stuff like that. And they talked about it in the industrial field, industrial field, medical field, and training and stuff like that. But they didn't really mention much about games outside of this Respawn project.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still a strong believer that this is going to go the way of 3D TV. You just be something that's there but isn't gonna be like prominent in the home.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
And I think Facebook is seeing that as well. And another thing, obviously, Facebook is the social network, and they talked up a lot about VR social spaces. Right. I think they have a specific space called, I think it's just called the Oculus Social Space, where you create your avatar, you put on your headset, and you walk around this virtual world. Think of like Second Life 2.0.
Yeah, like freaking the PlayStation Home or whatever.
Yeah, one of those.
Good luck.
One of those type of deals. So I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, I think VR and gaming is not a good. It's not a good mix.
It's not the best mix. It's not a sustainable mix. I think you can get a hit, once in a blue moon, but overall you're never gonna take away from the core gaming experience, which is controller in hand, looking at a nice pretty TV, playing your favorite game. You're never going to be able to take that away. It's never going to overcome that.
No, I agree. I think it's a niche product.
Yeah.
It's
like motion controls. Niche.
Yeah, I think it's going to go the way of motion controls.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, but I couldn't think of motion controls. So I was like 3D TV. just technology that's going to be cool for this era in time, but it will eventually go away.
Yep.
But we'll see what's up. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story, and this is actually pretty cool. And it involves the story after, which is also pretty cool. And we're talking about PUBG, or PlayerUnknown's Battleground. It was just announced recently that it hit 2 million concurrent players. And this is actually a first on the Steam platform. Right. So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, this game has just been increasing in momentum over the years.
Yeah, 2 million. 2 million is impressive for a couple of reasons. The first reason is 2 million people playing a single game. I mean, it's not that's pretty unprecedented. I mean, you see that with TV shows where you get millions of people watching a TV show, but 2 million people playing a specific game at the same time is pretty impressive. Yeah. And on top of that, think about this: they had 2 million people playing this game at the same time, and they had no server issues.
Right.
Just think about that amazing technological accomplishment there. No servers blew up. It just went along and rolled with 2 million people. And I think that particular day they averaged something like 1.6 or 1.7 million people playing all day. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 million people is more than, I think that would make it, I think I said the 5th largest city in the United States by population. And on top of that, the top 10 games that particular day totaled all together, aggregated 1.6 million concurrent users, peak concurrent users that particular day. And the previous record was held by Dota at 1.295 million concurrent users, which is, that's a ton of people playing a single game.
That is amazing. Yeah. So shout out to the developers, Bluehole, I believe that's the developers. Yeah, shout out to them because they definitely created something special.
Definitely did.
Special enough for somebody to come around and take the idea and run with it, which is exactly what our next story is about.
Epic Games thought it was a great idea too.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and just segue into our next story, and this is actually a pretty cool segment. It's called The Week in Fortnite. Because Fortnite has definitely been in the news. We have a couple of stories revolving around this particular franchise. So let's go ahead and go with the first bullet point. What we got? The
first thing is Bluehole's worst nightmare. Now they just racked up 2 million concurrent users on PC on PUBG. Right? I said PC specifically because PUBG currently is a PC exclusive.
Right. It's coming out for Xbox One soon, though.
Soon. Yep. And apparently they're in talks to bring it to PlayStation 4 as well.
Okay.
But Fortnite Battle Royale has been out for 2 months. I mean, excuse me, not 2 months. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And they've already reached 10 million unique players. Now, this is not concurrent players, people playing all at the same time. Yet, it's 10 million people that has downloaded and played at least one round of this game. That's a lot in 2 weeks. That's a ton. Yeah. That's a ton of people. And if you think about it, the early access that they sold, so they sold the Fortnite early access for the core game. I think it hit something like only 500 to 600, between 500 and 700,000 people bought the game. From the time of release to the time this Battle Royale came out, it was like 500 to 700,000 people. And in 2 weeks they released this, and they got 10 million. That's like 20 times the number. I mean, it's mind-boggling the number of people. This is their new genre right now, apparently. And
pretty much.
We're going to see a lot of battle royale type modes coming to all of your favorite games.
Yeah. Look forward to it in the next Call of Duty, the next Halo. Like it's gonna be everywhere because it's super popular and not a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Not a lot of people are building these types of modes in their games. Right now we have like 2 very prominent games in this, because it's like a subgenre, because that wasn't even the core aspect of Fortnite.
No, Fortnite is a build and defend. It's like a tower. It's like
tower defense. Yeah, it's like a tower defense, toird person shooter. But once the success of PUBG, hit the airwaves, that it's definitely speaking volumes. So I would not be surprised to see this in a lot of AAA games coming soon.
For sure. It's gonna. I can imagine what E3 is gonna look like next year, where it's gonna be tons and tons of these battle royale modes and existing IPs, and probably even new IPs.
Sure, because I remember when Horde mode became like super popular. Remember when Horde mode was all the rage?
That was all the rage. Throwing in everything.
Yeah,
that's the Call of Duty Zombies, right?
And Call of Duty Zombies.
Yep,
and then
Gears. Did Gears start it?
I don't know if they started it, but they may have popularized it.
They popularized it for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but then you had it in Halo. Then you had it in the Call of Duty with the Zombies mode.
Yeah, then Destiny. You had it in Titanfall. You have pretty much every first-person shooter has some type of horde mode.
Yeah,
and I don't mind horde modes. And the thing is, I'm all about choice. So if you make a choice, and I can either yay or nay it, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Right.
It's just what I have a problem with is when everybody rushes to one thing, you start losing that creativity.
Yeah, because there was there was a Halo game that started like going the Call of Duty route, in my opinion. I think it was Reach, and it just felt too much like Call of Duty with like the all of the loadouts, and I was like, this is Call of Duty, and that's not what I'm looking for in a Halo game.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's really hard these days to innovate in a genre as old as the shooter. And so when something comes out that makes an impact, you can bet your bottom dollar that everybody that's in the industry is going to want to freaking like hop on that.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, but
definitely.
we have one more story with Fortnite. What's the next one?
So when you attract 10 million players, you're going to attract some. You are definitely going to attract some cheaters.
Yeah.
And Epic Games attracted a couple of cheaters, and they really didn't like those two cheaters. They go by the name of Charles Vrasper and Brandon Broom, and Epic Games went to North Carolina federal court and filed lawsuits against these two alleged cheaters.
Jeez.
They filed lawsuit claiming copyright infringement, violation of the DMCA, contributing to copyright infringement, breach of contract, and the contract in this case is the terms of service, intentionally interfering with contractual relations. I mean, they're just throwing straws out there to see what they can get to stick, is what it sounds like to me. And these two guys were they're on a known cheating site, and I forgot the name of
Lord. GameSpy? No, I was kidding.
No. Is GameSpy even still around?
I don't think so.
No. What is the name of this group? I'm looking. I'm going to find it because I should have had it before. But they're on a website that's known for distributing cheats. It's a blog set.
We're gonna find it.
Addicted Cheats.
Addicted Cheats?
Addictedcheats.net. Both of them are involved in that particular.
Very inconspicuous. Website. Good job concealing yourselves, guys.
Well, cheating in games is not necessarily illegal. So I mean, at least
when it breaches the terms of service, it is.
Yeah, that's true too. So it seems like those guys have fight on their hand. I don't know if they can get some high-powered lawyers or what, but they're coming after you.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Epic is on the warpath.
Yeah. With Epic Games, they definitely they're definitely striking while the iron is hot in terms of the battle royale mode, and so any kind of like negative press that can take away from the positive experience, they're going to shut that down immediately.
They're going to shut it down immediately. Absolutely. And again, the Battle Royale is free to play, so anybody can jump up in it. And that's part of the reason why they got 10 million people to play it in 2 weeks.
So what do you mean?
It's free to play. It's free. Just go download Battle Royale and go play.
Oh, so you don't even need the core game in order to play Battle Royale?
Nope.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
No, you just go to your PlayStation or Xbox store, download Fortnite search Fortnite and find the Battle Royale title and download it. I'm not sure what their monetization plan is, but the game is free to get into it. I'm sure they have like stuff you can buy. Microtransactions associated. And I have downloaded it, and I've actually got 2 friends on my friends list that's been telling me I need to goddamn play the game.
Oh wow! What did you download? What'd you download it on?
I got it on my Xbox One, of course. I've been too busy raiding, and Iron Banner was this week, so I got to raid and get my Iron Banner gear.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Evil Within too, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to play that. That it sounds fun, but it's like super intimidating at the same time.
That's part of my issue too. I'm like, do I want to get in there? As the way it works is you start out and you just slowly are pushed into the middle to fight against each other.
Yeah, yeah. You have to like collect and scavenge and
build weapons or just forts or whatever you're building in. But it looks fun. It looks like it could be fun, and maybe I'll get into it and I will love it and played it a lot. But at this point, I haven't tried it.
Yeah.
But when you get games like this, it's definitely good to at least appear to want to root out cheaters. Me personally, I can't stand cheaters. It annoys me to no end. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's just a game we're all supposed to be playing for fun, and for you to get in here and grief me, because a lot of times these cheaters are just doing it for the lulz. They don't really. Some of them are doing it. Oh, I gotta win, but a lot of them are just doing it just so they can grief other people.
Right.
And that's not cool.
No, not cool. Not cool at all. But yeah, that's this week in Fortnite. Tune in next week though, with more Fortnite news. Let's go ahead and now move on to the next story. And now this involves this involves what we talked about during the weekly icebreaker about the Humble Bundle. And the reason I wanted to do that is because it seems like the way that we perceive the Humble Bundle may be going away, because they were just recently acquired by the media company IGN. And if you know anything about IGN, you know that I hate them. Their reviewers are super inconsistent and they don't make any goddamn sense.
A lot of times their reviewers, it seems to me that they're very biased.
Yeah, they're super biased, man. That's why I don't like them, man. I do not like IGN. Like when somebody comes to me and says, "Oh yeah, IGN gave it," I'm like, man, fuck IGN, man. Get that out of here. I do not trust their opinion on games at all.
They seem to be super biased, and
they'll give a game a score based on the perception that the general public has on it, not based on its actual merits or anything.
The merits of the game, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of IGN. I don't know what this means for Humble Bundle. Like I said before, during the icebreaker, there's been plenty that I've seen that I thought were great. I just haven't and don't game on my PC, so a lot of times I just pass. Right. When I see the console ones, I will take a look. I mean, there's only been a couple. The one I got, the one that included Darksiders, I think there was a Capcom one for PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah.
I skipped over that because, for Capcom.
They're not so bad.
And then I think they did an Xbox one a couple years ago, right? In 2015.
I'm sure they did. I may have. I definitely missed out on that one, so I don't know.
Yeah, that one I remember seeing it, and I had intended to, and I just forgot about it, and it expired.
Yeah.
But yeah, IGN says they're not going to make any changes. Humble Bundle is going to run autonomously and add no changes. They're going to stay as they are. They'd say that at the beginning, 6 months down the road, they're going to make all kinds of changes, and is it going to be the Humble Bundle presented by IGN and all this nonsense? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this particular purchase or this particular transaction.
Accusation,
acquisition.
Acquisition, yeah. Sorry, my English.
I'm not a big fan of it, but what are you going to do? I just hope that the Humble Bundle can continue as they are, because not only do they offer tons of great games, they do it for a good cause.
Right, yeah, and that's my thing. This seems to have been one of the more innocent sides of, the gaming landscape, where you have, a company that is, distributing games for people that may not have, $60 to drop on a game,
right?
Or however much it costs at regular retail price, but allowing people to pay what they want and divvy up where they want to send the money. Like you're giving consumers choice, and you're also giving people that may not have the funds to buy things at full price the ability to play really awesome games. And I'm very sorry, that's not a screaming human, that's a freaking parrot, and I'm going to kill it once the podcast is over. I am so sorry.
Leave the parrot. He's okay.
No, he's not okay.
We should do the show with him on your shoulder one day.
That thing will bite, freaking poke my eyes out, man. I'm hoping somebody takes care of him in a second. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it retains the same goals as it had before. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure why it was sold. Like I don't know if they had financial issues or something. I don't know, but we'll see. Oh my god, this fucking bird.
Don't worry, just keep.
Anyway, but yeah, we'll see what happens. They say they're gonna keep everything intact. They're not gonna make any changes, but you know that's what they always say in the beginning.
Yep, that's what they always say.
That's what they always say. Yep. I mean, they didn't buy him to not make a profit. You know what I'm saying?
Next year at this time it'd be something to hold 180-degree difference.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully they stay as they are. I mean, if you haven't or unfamiliar with the Humble Bundle, just go check them out. I mean, they usually have great deals. It's basically pay what you want, and you're able to, you know, give the money to developers, or you can pick a charity to donate to. Right. So it's always been a good deal in my opinion. And
for a lot of cases, if you pay like the maximum amount. Or not the maximum, but like the minimum,
the average
like
amount, more than the average or more.
Right? Yeah, if you pay that, you get a prize or something. You get like a something cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. Here's to IGN not messing up the Humble Bundle. All right, but let's go ahead and knock on wood.
That's me knocking on wood.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the last story in the top 5. And this is actually a weird one. I'm not sure how to even start this, but I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot.
Okay, so you remember back in the day when you had a Nintendo 64 and you had like your one good controller, but then like you didn't have enough money to you know buy 3 more, you know, official controllers.
Right.
So you got, you know, the off-brand. You got
the Mad Cats.
Yeah, you got the Mad Cats, or you know, some of those other like knockoff ones, and they would look a little different. You know, especially with the N64 controllers, the handles wouldn't be the same length or something. It would be colored weird. Yeah, that's not a thing with the PlayStation because they are actually going out of their way to officially license, you know, like quote unquote off-brand controllers.
Right, third-party joints.
Third-party controllers, yeah. They are officially licensing third-party controllers. And I don't know if this is a first, but it just seems weird.
It's weird. Because this is the issue with me. PlayStation and Microsoft, for that matter, their controllers have proprietary wireless technology to connect to either system.
Right.
I think Sony's is Bluetooth based, but it's not just Bluetooth. And Microsoft has its own weird wireless standard. Microsoft, it's what Xbox Wireless is something. They even start selling dongles and build it into some laptops. But they have their own proprietary wireless standard that they don't necessarily license to third parties. And is one that third parties don't necessarily have access to. Is one thing to say we're going to have an unofficial controller, and because it's unofficial, we don't have access to license your wireless. We didn't license your wireless technology, so it's going to be wired.
Right.
These controllers are officially licensed. Oh, blah blah blah. Officially licensed by PlayStation to be PlayStation 4 controllers, but as you see in the picture I'm going to put up, they are all wired. 3 wired controllers. Makes no sense. I know there are people out there, and I know a lot of times a lot of these are professional gamers. A lot of them are playing fighting games.
Yeah,
fight pads, and it's because they feel that the response time is faster, and there's some truth to that, to the science of a wired controller being faster than wireless. And I understand that, and if that's what you're doing, you want the fastest response, wired is the way to go. But these controllers aren't targeted at professional players. They're actually targeted at casual people. Me as a casual person, not a pro, casual, hardcore. I don't know. I'll call myself a casual. Me as a casual gamer, there's no way on this blue and brown green earth that I'm touching any of these things with wires on it. No, it's not a thing, not happening ever. Makes no sense.
I mean, I dabble in fighting games, and for those particular games, I do own wired like fight pad, like official fight pad controllers. I have a Hori fight pad controller for my Xbox One. I have another Hori for my PlayStation 4. And I have a slew of Mad Catz controllers that work on my PC and also for my last gen Xbox 360.
Right.
And you know, those because I played with I play fighting games and I like all six I like all six buttons on the face.
Right.
I don't like using the triggers, and I'm not skilled, or I've never been able to get like the arcade stick down. So I just went with the fight pad. So in those cases I can see how it works, but these don't even have the 6 buttons on the face.
No.
These are just cheaper PlayStation 4 controllers that don't have. They're just cheap wired PlayStation 4 controllers. That's it.
The only one I can give an argument for is the Hori one, because the Hori one is actually a micro. In the image I have, they all look close to the same size, but the Hori controller is really small, and they're marketing it to people, you know, getting kids into gaming. It's perfect for people with small hands, but better suited for younger kids, and that's fine. I can understand that. The 2 other controllers, the At Play controller, and the other one is what, Nacom or Nancom, what's the name of those? That's third company.
I don't know. It's
Nacon.
Okay,
it's Nacon. Yeah. So I don't understand what they're trying to do with their controllers, other than just make some money in the controller market. Now, to be true, these controllers, as they are now, are for the European market. There's no mention of them coming here to North America or anywhere else, but I would imagine at some point they may show up. I just don't.
I don't understand it in 2017.
No.
Like, you know, maybe last gen, but definitely the generation before that, it was very prominent. It was a very known thing that, you know, you had third-party controllers. It's been there since, you know, at least for me, since the N64 era, where you had, you know, the officially licensed controllers, and then you had the knockoffs or the third parties. So and I don't know why Sony would give them the, you know, official license or officially license them and then not allow them to be wireless. Like,
my guess to that is that the wireless technology is one of 2 things. Either Sony is just keeping it for themselves, or they charging so much of a licensing fee that is not financially feasible for these companies to use it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can see is if they're priced, you know, $30-$40.
But that's a problem, because there's sales all the time for PlayStation 4 and Xbox controllers for $40. It was just a sale. I use what's called Tech Bargains. If you go, it's an app I use. They were just a couple of days ago, they had PlayStation, the red ones, on sale for $34.99. It's the official, not the officially licensed, but the Sony made PlayStation 4 DualShock 4, $34.99. So if I know I can get, if I'm not in a rush, right? If I have my controllers, I don't need it right now, I can wait around and I can get controllers for $35-$40.
Right.
That's official controller with the wireless technology. The only reason I personally would buy a wired controller is the same situation you're in. If I'm going hard in the fighting game and I want the better response time.
Yeah, better response time, or 6 face buttons.
Yep, that's the only reason. Other than that, it's no reason for you to get it. I don't see what the benefit of having a controller.
We can't not address the elephant in the room. These designs are hideous. These are some ugly controllers. They're freaking ugly, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't buy them. I mean, the Nacon and the At Play controllers look similar to what the DualShock 4 looks like. The D-pads look problematic.
Yeah.
The Hori one, like I said, is definitely far different design than any PlayStation controller I've seen ever. But yeah, design aside, I mean, I don't care about the design. The design. The wires on it that's enough. If you tell me wired controllers and it was 24 karat plated gold and you sold it to me for $40, I still wouldn't take it. Get out of here. Take your wires and
go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, like you said, still no word on the US availability. Well, we'll have to see if they bring them out here. I don't. I'm not. I would never get one. Like maybe if I had a kid or something.
No.
Because like you would much rather him drop a cheaper freaking Hori controller. And like honestly, Hori controllers aren't cheap.
No, they're not.
They're not that cheap.
And then this is the thing. Their marketing is the Hori is smaller. The PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 controller, the reason I don't play my PlayStation a lot is already small.
Yeah.
And I have pretty big hands, so it's small enough that it's uncomfortable to me. That's why I don't play my PlayStation as much. That's part of the reason I don't play my PlayStation as much as my Xbox. But I just
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't seem like a smart decision.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can ask some of our European brethren. Maybe it's more popular there that they have wired controllers.
Maybe.
It may be a possibility, a regional thing, that they like wired controllers more than wireless, and that might be it. But as far from my perspective, I think these are non-starters.
Yeah. Outside of like FGC gaming, I don't see the use for wired controllers, and I do not see the use for handheld controllers that are wired that don't have 6 face buttons. I don't see any appeal there.
No.
Like if they were fighting game controllers like fight pads with 6 face buttons. Like I'm all in, but they're not. It's weird.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe this has something to do with the fact that they want the not officially licensed controllers to kind of just like go away.
Go away, yeah. It's possible.
Maybe that's a thing.
They'll never be able to make that happen. That's
right.
Never going to be a thing. There's always going to be third party. Unlicensed third-party controllers out there that'll work perfectly fine with the PlayStation.
Yeah, but
or any other system for that matter.
Right. But we'll man, they're ugly, man. I'd never buy one just because they're ugly, and I got enough wires. I don't have any wired controllers right now.
Yeah, no.
Because with all the setup that I have here, it's a freaking mess, mind you. With all the wires that I have here, like I do not need extra wires for controllers. Like that is a thing of the past.
Yes.
So yeah.
Thankfully,
yeah. So, yeah, that was our top 5 news stories. Let us know what you think on this story or any of the stories that we talked about during the show. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Let us know down in the comment section. Debate us. We pride ourselves in being able to, interact with you guys on these gaming topics. So let us know your thoughts down in the comment section or wherever it is that you are consuming this media. With that said, we can move on to our next topic, which is the long-form discussion. And we're kind of going to piggyback on what we talked about earlier with advertising and sponsors. And we want to ask the question, when is it too far? Like, what is considered too far when it comes to in-game advertisers and sponsors? Like, when is it too far?
Yeah.
Because we mentioned earlier that, Colonel Sanders and WWE 18, it seems innocent enough, but there's always the possibility that somebody else could just like take it further beyond. So what is that? What is that point? Let's talk about it.
So I have one, and it's bugged me, and it's from a game that's very near and dear to my heart, and we all know what game this is.
Destiny.
Destiny. They did it in Destiny 1. They did it in Destiny 2. They had a sponsorship deal with I think it's Rockstar. And on the tabs, the can tabs.
This is the drink we're talking about.
Yeah, the drink, the Rockstar energy drink. On the can tabs, there was a little code to redeem in-game items. And the only way you can get those in-game items is if you bought the Rockstar. In fact, I'm going to take it a step further. They had one with Red Bull that got you a specific item in the game that you couldn't get outside. Like, I think the Rockstar one gave you XP gains. The Red Bull one gave you access to a Sparrow, which is the vehicle you use to drive around the world. Now, eventually that Sparrow became available to everyone. It was locked behind a timed wall, timed exclusivity wall. But when you get into stuff like that, that stuff right there is problematic to me. When you have advertisement and promotions that are granted in-game. Now, granted, it didn't affect the particular gameplay. You just had this Red Bull colored Sparrow in game.
Right.
But when it gets to stuff like that, in game content, especially in a game where there's a loot and shoot game, a collection game where you're out to collect stuff, that I think is crossing the line.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the first time that we've seen this with food and stuff like that. You know, we've had the Call of Duty and Halo EXP games with Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Right.
That's why like the MLG meme is like Doritos and Mountain Dew or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. I definitely can say that I do not like it when developers or publishers or whoever's responsible go out of their way to segment content out of a game. Like case in point, Street Fighter V. When that game was coming out, there were costumes for 3 characters. I believe it was Ryu, Chun-Li, and Bison, and Cammy 4, that were all locked behind. Each one was locked behind a very specific pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
So like if you got it on Amazon, you got the Cammy outfit, you got a GameStop, you got Ryu, Best Buy, you got something, and it was like, what if I want all of the costumes?
Right, you got to buy them from the store.
You got to buy them from the store or use the in-game currency or whatever. But it's just like, why do that? Like, right. It's content that, you know, people want. Give us everything in the game. Like, I really don't like the pre-order bonus BS either, you know, because GameStop gets that all the time.
All the time, yeah. And it's bad enough that you have the timed exclusives, timed exclusive content for this console or the other. That's one thing. That's bad. But then to add on top of that, these sponsorships where you're going out, you're telling people to go buy. Most of the time, it's junk food that's not really good for you.
Right.
Energy drinks, Doritos, Taco Bell, Mountain Dew. You tell them to go out and buy this junk so you can get stuff in game. I think that's a problem, and I'm not a big fan of the experience point stuff, especially when it comes to stuff like Call of Duty, because as you level up, you unlock better weapons, and if you're leveling up faster because you're drinking 6 packs of Mountain Dew every hour and getting those damn codes,
it's basically paying to win with your body.
That's right. Paying to win with your body. That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's extremely problematic. It can introduce bad habits to people, and it causes all kinds of problems. But on top of that, it can generate an unbalanced game with an unbalanced community.
Right.
And when you start having that, people won't play a game.
I mean, or at least they won't play it to the extent that they, you know, might have in the past. Like I can tell you right now that, you know, if I couldn't get on to Call of Duty after a certain amount of time. Like, you know, when you got the EXP weekends, like that's cool. Like, yeah, because everybody's playing, like, so that's cool. But when you have these sponsorship deals and, you know, you have people like leveling up early in the game, people getting, you know, massive advantages. And this is probably, you know, what we're talking about now is probably the precursor to, you know, all of the loot boxes or whatever, or paying for loot boxes. It's kind of like the precursor to that. So I don't know, man. I feel like all of it's bad.
Yeah, I think yeah. Like I said, any advertisement or sponsorship deals that affect any type of gameplay, because I brought Call of Duty for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years this past year with Infinite Warfare.
Right.
And I decided, so, you know what? Let me just jump online and play a match. Now, the game hadn't been out 24 hours. Let's see, the game came out Tuesday, right? It came out that Tuesday, midnight. I got on that day about 8. So the game had been out for 20 hours.
Okay.
There was like people that's level 2 prestige with all kinds of gear. I'm running around. I'm like, how do you get that high that fast?
Right. It's like, number one, how did you get matched up with that person, and two, like, how does that happen?
That matchmaking, we're gonna have to do a long form on that one day. But yeah, I mean, when you start running into stuff like that, like, it's discouraging because I'm getting melted because I have inferior weapons, and unfortunately, Call of Duty, they claim to be like, oh, you can play and compete with any weapon. No, you can't.
No.
If you don't have a proper loadout, you're going to get melted, and you don't get that proper loadout until you put hours in the game or level up. And when you got somebody that's been leveling up for 20 hours straight using XP boosts, I have no chance.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's very 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 weird how these sponsorships work, because it's like, I don't know. You have things like cosmetics, like the KFC thing. That's why I think that's like probably one of the most innocent like sponsorship deals, is because you're not getting anything that makes that character like superior to any other character. No. It's mostly cosmetic, and they don't even give it to you outright. They give you the assets so that you can create it yourself. Right. So like when you see stuff like that, it's like, okay, this doesn't bug me, but it's like, man, how much money is being tossed around? How much more incentive does it give these developers to accept other things? Because WWE 2K19 can definitely come out with something where it's like, oh well, you could get Ronald McDonald, and like he has like better stats because they want his character to be better than it's how much influence, how far does it go? Yeah, how much influence does this money that they're getting for these sponsorship deals have? And that's really the question, is like, can these developers be pushed to a point where they are manipulating the game in a way that benefits them, in terms of their sponsorship deal with these companies? And I don't know, man. It's a really weird question. It's a very loaded question. We can take it to a lot of different avenues.
Right. And at the end of the day, like I said earlier, if you're going to do achievement advertisement, I don't care, because it pops up for maybe 30 seconds.
Right.
I'll see it. It'll go away, and I'll forget about it. Or create a character like the way it's done with the Colonel Sanders now. I don't care. Because I have the option to put them in, and if I don't ever want to see them in there, I just don't create them, and I'm fine with that. When we talk about the sports games, where they start like normally sports games, when you look at baseball, basketball, football, soccer, or the world's football, hockey, we look at that. All of those are tailored to advertising, because when you go to a stadium, when you look around the rafters, there's advertising. If the publishers are charging advertisers to put stuff on that, I don't care, because in all honesty, you can make the argument that it's making the game more authentic, because that's what you would see in real life.
It's a simulator, so like when you go into like an instant replay, and it'll do like the transition, and it'll be like the sprite instant replay, and or something like that. It's authentic, so that actually works.
And I mean, like one that I forgot about this, but on MLB The Show, they have those type of sponsors where you can actually, as you level up, you can buy specific sponsors and put them on like areas on the screen. Like you can put like a Nike sponsor right by it'd be Balls and Strikes presented by Nike, or it'd be like the reliever walk-in presented by Snickers, and each of those different sponsorships will give you some kind of bonus boost. But I still don't have a problem with that, because that's a game mechanic that was there already. It was there prior, but previously it had just some kind of generic name. Right. So instead of having a generic name, they just put a sponsor. That's fine, and it shows up where it would normally show up. It's not intrusive. Right. It's just like I said, when it definitely affects gameplay, when it's giving people fast experience, it's giving them items that, like you said, your pre-order items that I can't get, or I have to wait 3, 4, 6 months or a year to get get
that. I'm not going out and like collecting Snickers wrappers, so I can't get the stuff that's in the game until they decide to release it. Right, a certain skin or a vehicle or something like that. That's definitely, in my opinion, crossing the line. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like what we've been seeing in terms of like microtransaction and the whole the loot box aspect of gaming, I really do feel like if it's not contained in this little bubble that it's in right now, as terms of the sponsors, because like we said, these developers are looking for money anywhere that they can get it.
I mean, that's what big companies. I don't think it's the developers mainly. It's
not the developer. Whoever's responsible for the decision. They're looking to make as much money as humanly possible. They can't increase the price of the game at its core. Nobody's going to pay $70, $80, for a game outright. Right. So they have to implement these these things that just get you to spend more than the core $60.
The value add. So
they have to add more values, quote unquote.
Is either giving you a game and making you buy DLC, which is raising the price to $100 nowadays, right? You buy the season, you buy the game with the season pass, $100, right?
Yeah.
Or it's microtransactions where you're buying the countless loot boxes. I mean, Overwatch is making a killing with the loot boxes, especially when it's events. I mean, I just saw a video where a dude bought 50 of them. It's like $50. He spent $50 on loot boxes so he can try to get the stuff. He's like, I'm going to open all my loot boxes. I mean, he's not the only person doing this. Tons of people
definitely
doing that.
not. I mean, shoot, there's been people that have spent thousands of dollars playing Candy Crush, just like so they can go again or whatever. Right. So you have people out there that have the money to spend to roll the dice. I guess you can say.
Yep.
But when it comes to these sponsorship deals, I really hope that they do not. It doesn't come to a point where like, oh well, we want our particular thing to be like prominent in the game, or we want this to be a better version of what's already here. Like I really don't want that. Like I don't want a Dorito skin on my weapon that does like ×2 damage or something like that.
That's exactly where I was coming. I don't want advertising that's unnatural.
Yeah, unnatural advertising and advertising or sponsorship deals or deals with sponsors that the reason that it's there is it makes it a more prominent thing in the game.
Right. I don't want to be walking around a dystopian future world and there's a damn Pepsi machine on the side, right?
Yeah.
I don't, or a Doritos ad billboard or something. I don't want that because it's unnatural, right? You don't want to walk around and be wearing Cheetos orange armor for
Cheeto armor.
Yeah, Cheeto orange armor because you buy it's the Cheetos sponsorship deal that I do not want. If you give me the Cheetos achievement for crushing people, that's fine.
Right.
Or you give me the Snickers achievement for doing something. I don't care about that. That's again, that's a pop up.
Don't make it impact the gameplay.
Right.
In a way that benefits the sponsor. That's what I'm saying. Like
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think, and you know what? Unfortunately, we may be heading in that direction because money talks, man.
Yeah, money talks.
Money talks, and in these publishers or whoever's responsible for making these deals, they want that money.
Right, and money does talk. And remember, you can protest by just closing your wallet.
Close your wallet, because money talks in both ways, that which is why there was a weekly icebreaker topic that I thought about. It was like games that I thought I might want to get, but then I didn't get because of like certain issues or whatever. These microtransactions and these loot boxes and hiding content behind paywalls. Like I don't know. It's turning me off from a lot of games that I would have otherwise normally picked up.
Right? Yeah. And it gets you to stop playing games that you've been playing because of that. Right. Like, okay, so now for me to really get the stuff I want, I gotta play 1,000,000 hours, or I gotta dump money in and buy a bunch of loot boxes. I don't want it that bad, so I just won't play.
Right, because it's not even like dumping money just to get what you want. You are spending money to roll the dice.
To roll the dice, that's right. It's a crapshoot. We're in Vegas, baby.
Rare, yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully, we won't see that for some time, but I think it's inevitable, man. If McDonald's decided they wanted to, invest a bunch of money into a game, I'm certain that we'll have freaking.
Ronald McDonald in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
God, bring Grimace back if they're gonna do that.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, they bring. We're the Hamburglar. Bring that back to Hamburglar. Do something cool with it at least. But yeah, that's our long form discussion. Let us know what you think on this. We've been having some pretty heavy hitters in terms of the long form discussion. I'm glad that we've been able to come up with some really cool discussions to talk about during the show, because these are some really important questions, especially in this in today's gaming climate? These are the important questions that we need to ask. You know, because gaming is changing. It is changing at a rapid pace, and it's changing, you know, so that it doesn't really benefit the consumer anymore.
Yeah, the days are over of just developing a game and releasing the game and making money off the sales. Those days are over.
Right. Yeah, because it's all about the continuous stream of money that you can make off of you know, one release. You know, and you have to think like,
because if you think,
go ahead.
If you think about it, it's cheaper for them to maintain one game, develop a game and maintain it for 5 years, making microtransactions, than releasing a new game every couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, and to think, you know, a lot of what, you know, people complained about in the past, like, oh, you know, because you remember the whole fight against, you know, GameStop and reselling, like how people didn't want that. Like, you have to think, like, is this a product of that? Is this the reality that we created because we didn't shut that down? You know, it's very possible.
Yep. Yeah.
But we'll see, man. You know, we've been gaming since gaming. I don't intend on stopping my video game hobby for some time, but you know, if it's not benefit, if it doesn't benefit me, if I'm getting, you know, less and less game for my money, then, you know, I may need to take up another hobby. I might stop vaping or something. I don't know. Become a professional Instagram vapor or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Do some tricks. But yeah, let us know what you think. This is definitely something that needs to be talked about. And you know, a lot of people that I've been watching have been turning their attention to more like specific issues like this on the internet. So yeah, so that's the long form. Let's go ahead and get into our last segment of the show, which is our final thoughts. And this is the part of the podcast where we revisit the stories that we talked about today and just give our final 2 cents. This is actually really good for anybody that's just tuning in as well. You know, if you just tuned into the stream or the podcast, you just want to hear what we have to say overall. This is like the perfect segment for you. So I really like doing the final thoughts. So I'll start this week. Yep. I think we've said enough about Colonel Sanders. We've given them enough freaking airtime. So I'm gonna just go. I'm just gonna skip over that. As far as the DRM being cracked, I mean, this is par for the course, man. Like these guys are like what, like 8 for 10? As far as cracking DRM
that stuff, it's like 70% or better.
Yeah. So we'll something has to be done, and especially for Shadow of War, which has been riddled with enough controversy. This is something that this game just did not need. Yeah. I'm really happy that the original developers behind a pretty, you know, I wouldn't say it's obscure. A lot of people know about it. Well, yeah, you could say it's an obscure Sonic game, is recreating it in a way that makes it, you know, better. Because he stated in his press release that he's changing it to make it a better experience for the players. You know, he's taken a lot of people's criticisms to heart, feedback, and he's going to make a better product. So we'll see what happens. I definitely plan on playing it once that releases. As far as the Oculus Rift is concerned, it looks like, especially for the Oculus, that they're gearing it more towards, you know, the social aspect and like, you know, like engineering aspect, where you can use it as a tool for work and for like, you know, just like being social. It doesn't really feel like they're pushing the gaming aspect of it too much, because, and you know, this is just my personal opinion, I do not think that, you know, VR headsets have a future in gaming. I don't see it. That's just my opinion though. PUBG hitting 2 million concurrent players on Steam. Anything that surpasses what was the game that they surpassed?
Dota.
Yeah, anything that's, if you surpass Dota in any category, you're doing something right. Because Dota is like #1 in everything.
#1 streamed. I think it's not even a #1 stream anymore. It's PUBG's been pushing Dota on it as far as the #1 stream game as well.
Yeah. So surpassing Dota as the #1 game too, with concurrent players, is definitely a feat. As far as their direct competitor, Fortnite, racking up 10 million users, that's definitely a accomplishment. And like we stated earlier, they're going to do anything and everything to keep this positive momentum going. So don't go out cheating, because they have proven that they will sue you.
They will sue you. I will sue you.
Yeah, you're gonna get sued, my boy. So if you want to cheat, you want to break the game, you want to do anything nefarious to this title with all of the positive momentum that they've been getting, you better have a good lawyer, because they're coming after you. IGN acquiring the Humble Bundle seems like it really seems like we're doing a farewell piece on the Humble Bundle, because I don't think they're going to keep it intact the way that it was before, but they said that they will, so let's hope that IGN isn't as scummy as I think they are. And the PlayStation 4 controllers, it just seems unwarranted. It may just be something for the European market, and if that's the case, well, I'll have to if you're from Europe, like, let us know down in the comments, like, how does this appeal to you at all?
right. What is it? Is this something that's more common where you're at? Do you guys just like wired controllers more than you like the wireless ones?
Yeah.
I'll be interested to know, because I know here from personal experience and experiences, shared experience with friends, nobody wants wired controllers.
No, nobody except for FGC enthusiasts.
Yep.
Yeah, and FGC stands for Fighting Game Community. So yeah, that's my final thoughts. What about you, Boogie?
Well, like I said, we talked enough about the advertisement. I think the Colonel Sanders one's fairly innocuous. But it, like you said, it could be precedent setting. Right. The nouveau DRM is more of a hassle to people buying the game than it is to people pirating the game. And if that's the case, you're not doing it right. It's cool that the unofficial Sonic's Director's Edition, that's really cool. I like the fact that they're going to try to make it work on the Sega Genesis. I think that's a fun thing to do for purists and collectors alike.
Right.
The Oculus Connect, like I said, I watched part of this. I got a lot out of it as far as it going more towards the enterprise and social, less towards gaming. Outside of the Respawn announcement, there wasn't much mention of any gaming. And I think that's essentially where VR is going to go. It's going to wind up finding its niche somewhere outside of gaming. There may be one or two headsets with some games on it that's gaming specific, but it's not going to be the runaway hit that everybody was expecting.
Right.
PUBG, 2 million people concurrent players. Like I said, that's a huge achievement. And on top of that, they did it without any technical difficulties. Kudos to them and that team at Blue Hole. Fortnite racking up 10 million users in 2 weeks. That's also not an easy feat.
Nope.
And the success of these two battle royale games is definitely going to spawn some more copycats down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're cheating in Fortnite, Epic Games is coming after you. And I wonder what kind of precedent this may set. I wonder if they actually win the case, or if they get a favorable ruling, if we'll see the same thing happening for other big games. When you look at Overwatch and League of Legends and Dota and all of those other games where there's rampant cheating as well. I don't believe a word that comes out of IGN's mouth from their reviews to the press release. So I hope Humble Bundle can stay as it is, but I really don't expect it. And these officially licensed PS4 controllers, Sony either lessen the cost for your wireless technology or at least allow it, because to hell with your wires.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that. I'm done there.
Okay, so yeah, that was our final thoughts. Again, let us know what you think about any of the stories that we talked about today, including our long-form discussion. Hit us up in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or just let us know what you think by hitting us up on Twitter. We are at AWGamingNS, and also on Facebook, a weekly gaming news show, or you can just type in the call letters AWGNS, and you should be able to find us. Facebook has become a convoluted mess these days, man. I can't find a goddamn thing on that website anymore.
Yeah, they're adding and taking things. I don't know. I don't bother with it that much anymore.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely hit us up on Twitter. That's the most direct way that you can reach out to us, is on Twitter.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, we definitely want to thank you In case you don't know, Boogie, why don't you inform the audience on where they can listen to us?
Right. If you want to take us on the go, we are on iTunes, we're on Google Play, we are on TuneIn Radio, we are also on the general podcasting directory. So if you have your favorite podcast app that you use on your Android or iOS device, you can find us and subscribe to us by searching our call letters AWGNS or a weekly gaming news show.
Yep. So yeah, definitely rate us. Let us know what you guys think. We definitely take all of your considerations to heart, and if there's any changes that we can implement, we'll definitely do that. Also, look out, we're rearing up for a season 2 launch, which is going to come with a few changes to the podcast. We're going to take a few suggestions and try to implement those in the upcoming weeks. So look forward to that. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is tinyurl.com/awgamingns. We don't have a custom link yet because we don't have 100 subscribers. We're still pushing for that 100 subscriber mark, and once we get there, we do plan on doing something special for everybody that has subscribed.
Yep.
So we plan on doing something special for you guys. But yeah, if you don't have the time to watch the entire podcast, Boogie does the weekly gaming news 10 and 10, where he gives a snippet of the stories that we will be talking about during the podcast in 10 minutes or less.
Yep.
And then I also do my gaming or weekly gaming news show, First Impressions, where I take a game that I may be playing that may have just come out or it could be old, and just give my first impressions on it, kind of like a off the cuff review of sorts. I'm not a game reviewer, so don't expect like I'm not JonTron or anybody crazy out here. But sometimes I just like to talk about a game that I'm enjoying or a game that I'm hating on. So you can catch my first impressions on the YouTube channel as well. I think that is it, unless you have something else to add.
Nope, I'm done here.
All right, so this has been episode 70 of a weekly gaming news show. We definitely appreciate you all for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and bounce up out of here. My name is Trenell.
My name is Todd.
And we will see you all
next
week. Peace out.